Help me. I've fallen down an archaeological hole and I can't get up. We're about to review Arty for the Atari 7800 and the Atari VCS.
They call it the Atari VCS 800 now, senor.
Whatever.
Hola, childs. It's time for Funkmaster V's Getting Hip with the Atari 7800, where Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, and comedian takes you on a tour of all things cool about the Atari 7800. Are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here. Every damn year, the good Lord in the sky goes into my brain while I slumber, and he starts kicking around things, looking to and fro to see which football teams I hate the worst on the planet. And when he discovers it's the Alabama Crimson Tide and the New England Patriots, he decides, after he found which teams I hate the most, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, he then wills them to win their respective championships. It's science fact, I know it is by now. And much in the same way, my friend Muddyfunster, whom I love, but a little less than I love the Lord, seems to want to revisit these games that have widespread appeal and that I don't have any affinity for. He came out with Danger Zone, which was a love letter to combat for the Atari 2600. Then that Keystone Police game, you know, the one from Activision, he revisited that for the Atari 7800. And then this game Arty, which suspiciously looks like a game called H.E.R.O, he's done the same thing. Well, I never liked H.E.R.O. I like Heroes. They're delicious. But the game was clunky. I thought the graphics sucked. And I just thought it was not nearly as fun as Pitfall 2. And I had no idea why people liked this game, H.E.R.O. Well, here we are in the year 2023. And not only has this thing been released last weekend at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. That rhymed. I never knew that before. It also was released on the Atari VCS. What? Yes, for a cool $8.99, you get to have a version of Arty to fart around with. Well, let's just break it down, and I'll tell you exactly how I feel about this reimagining. Let's talk about these graphics first and foremost. And who are we rescuing here? That looks like a famous archaeological type man from the state of Indiana. And that's the other thing, man. Muddyfunster, Bob DeCrescenzo, these cats who are making these Atari 7800 homebrews right now are really doing a nice job adding a lot of extras and a lot of nice touches. I mean, look at the graphics here. These skulls in the walls, the green lush jive, I guess they call that the flora of the flora and fauna fame. I mean, and even the H.E.R.O looks good, which is important on Atari games because they always seem to screw that up. You know, like the car in Fatal Run, the boy in Midnight Mutants, the H.E.R.O golfer in Mean 18. I mean, it's like, dude, take some pride in the H.E.R.O. Make somebody want to play. So this guy looks, you know, he looks like an action figure kind of spaceman thing. Doesn't make a lot of sense that he's rescuing archaeological type people, but and really, what's going on? Why are we not equipping these fellas and ladies with better equipment so they keep getting stuck, you know? And what are we looking for? But anyway, the graphics on this game are very good, and I feel like it gives character to a game. The original source material was just lacking, and it looked really generic. This kind of brings it to life, and it fixes a lot of issues. The sound is another Bobby Clark work of art, where each of these worlds, if you will, I'll tell you, the first one is South America, and then the second one is Egypt. The third one I won't tell you because I want you to have some fun and discover some stuff on your own. Also, I haven't made it there yet, so I don't know. But we won't talk about that. But each one of these worlds has its own soundtrack. The music is good. You know, Bobby Clark's music is great. Oh, who is that hot chick? Hello. How do I get this job? I get to fly around with her. I think you know who that is. But anyway, sounds good. The gameplay is probably the worst attribute of this game. I feel like even though this is much better. And Muddy said the one thing about H.E.R.O he didn't like is that it was real clunky, and sometimes the controls killed you. He fixed that here. I've never felt like the controls killed me. This is kind of a Gravatar type game where you are fighting a little bit with gravity, but it's not nearly as severe as Gravatar or even Gravatar Recharged, but there is kind of like of inertia kind of feel. And later, when you get into Egypt and you're trying to fly around spikes and there's water, again, hey, water kills people and kills heroes. I don't know. Legend of Zelda, it's like, oh my god, this magical elf that can fight a 7-story dragon, he can't touch water. But, you know, the gameplay, you know, there's a lot of darkness, as you can see, so you're horsing around with that. There's a lot of memorization. And a lot of the times when you die, it's just a twitch error. And it's pretty frustrating. It's an adventure game, and even though the controls are good, it's pretty simplistic. You put dynamite to blow down walls, and you have a laser beam that comes out of your helmet, and that's kind of problematic, even though you can hold down the button, and it just kind of rock and rolls, and you can even turn a turbo on one of the Atari controllers for the 7800. And just not even worry about it, just kind of be this laser beam shooting H.E.R.O here out the face. The angle, you know, it's not coming from your hand, it's coming out of your face. I think sometimes that's kind of weird. And you can see some water there. Ooh, and who's that? I believe, ooh, you about blew her head off there, dude. So, value, it's challenging. I've played it off and on for about 3 or 4 days, and the furthest I've gotten is level 13. And it's pretty challenging. And it becomes more about it becomes more about time. You have a limited number of moments on each level, which is represented by power. It's like your suit's powering down, but it's really a time limit. As far as interpretation is concerned, even though this is an official port of any other game we've ever heard of, if you think it is like H.E.R.O, this game blows it out of the water. And yeah, I think it's much better than the alleged source material. You've got an old man here giving you advice, and he's funny, and he's got that British humor. It's like a regular damn John Cleese and Monty Python going on here. At the end of the day, what would I give this guy? Let's pull up my scores here, and I'll tell you. I think graphics, man, we're going to give that a 4.5. I think the graphics, especially the backgrounds, make this game have a lot of flavor, funky flavor. The sound is good. I'd give it about a 4.0. It's not Bobby Clark's best music, but it's good. It's real strong. Gameplay, I'd give that guy about a 3, just because the game is not very complex. It's pretty simple. But he did fix the controls over the original H.E.R.O, and that is noteworthy. Interpretation, I'd give that about a 4.5. Value, yeah, once you beat this thing, I think you could probably beat it in about 20 minutes or so. Give that about a 3.5. And the reviewers tilt, I'd give about a 3.5. So we're looking at a 4.0 out of 5, which currently ranks that number 2 on my Atari VCS ranking list. And some of you who may be watching all of these may be, which isn't a lot of you, by the way, like and subscribe this stuff. I put some effort into this. Please, please. But some of you who watch the Quantum may be like, wait a minute, I don't remember EXO being reviewed, but I did review it on the Atari 7800, and it's pretty much the same thing. Oh, that reminds me. If you do play these Atari 7800 games on the Atari VCS 800, one of the most important things to do is go into your menu and adjust the dip switches to where the left stick, sometimes called L3 on modern controllers, if you push that in, it resets the game. It's totally stupid. Go to your dip switch menu and reassign that to the Y button, which I never ever hit, and even in a game where I'm supposed to hit the Y button, I always miss it anyway, so it's out of the way. But the reset button is ridiculous. But anyway, at the end of the day, here we go. Atari 7800 is kicking the ass on the Atari VCS, just like we told you. I told you this a long time ago. The Atari 7800 is the shiz, boys.
Get with the program. My website, Atari7800forever.com, reviews all Atari 7800 games. And with John Stoll Silverback, the Atari Pro Gamer Atari Network guy, he's got more names than the devil himself. He's helping us review all these games in the new era, and we're doing a lot about the Atari VCS nowadays too, because it's just fun to talk about. Also, if you're wanting to support this channel, one thing you could do is go check out my movies and check out what we're doing, bigandfunkyproductions.com. And if you can buy some merchandise, that helps. But we make horror comedies about the Appalachian South, and we do paranormal television too. Dudes, we're just trying to entertain you all night long until the break of dawn. And we hope you have some fun with this jive too. Anyway, Funkmaster V wants to say adieu. And our next review will be Haunted House for the Atari VCS.